Hi, good evening, Doctor.
Good
Glad
evening
to
to you.
see you. Yes,
Thank you.
today, we can go on to learn the Meththa Sutra. Yes,
The Meththa Sutra, yeah. There's
yeah,
a very important good afternoon to everybody. Yes, good evening, sorry. And yes, today we are going to discuss something quite interesting.
yes,
Okay.
yeah,
Now, okay, I'll brief that what we have learned so far. We go to number one straight away, Meththa Sutra, page 15, please. Yeah, that's right.
yeah,
So we said what metta means. So if you are practicing developing metta as a skill, you have to develop as a skill. When I said it's a skill, it it has to practice, you practice something is called a skill development. But if you
yeah,
just read something or just do it once, that is not a skill. But you have to develop this skill over a period of time. Then what is the advantage of a skill? It works in its own effortlessly. Without your influence, it will work in its own. For example, when you practice something, it's embedded in the system so that whenever it is required, it will come automatically. Automatically, it comes and helps you. That's a skill. Can you understand that? If you develop a skill, it will
yes,
come automatically to you. So if you develop a skill to deal with the things lightly, slightly and lightly, very lightly, then your system get used to that. Your system get used to that. So it is a skill.
yeah.
It's a habit, sort of a habit. It becomes
Habits,
a habit.
yes,
Habitual,
yes,
habitual, occurrence, occurring habitual as a habitual. It occurs as a habitual. That's the advantage. Okay, that has to be kept in mind. So metta is developed like, like a skill.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
That's good. Okay.
mm,
So then Buddha went on to show us uh, this metta is in simple terms. I'm bringing that point over and over again. Yeah, good evening. Over and over again to tell you that it is to do with the formation of thoughts. So you're not allowing the system to produce any thoughts. You are allowing the system to go from Rupa, Vedana, Sanya only. No Sankara, no Vijnana, which we studied earlier. The thought has got five items or aggregates, five aggregates of a thought: Rupa, Vedana, Sanya. So you see something, you develop Upadana Rupa in your system, then you check whether it is good to be with that, to have happiness. Vedana is that. Sanya is you identify that. So you Rupa Vedana Sanya. So you're identifying Rupa Vedana Sanya, you're identifying what you have seen. But if you are going to deal with Sanya further, what will happen is Sankara comes. Sankara is your particles are going to change. That is a bad part, because when once that comes to effect, your system could change. So compression, squeezing, warming up and vibration of the particles are coming through Sankara. Then you feel the feelings that you get through Sankara. So it's a bad feeling or good feeling. They are temporary feelings. So Buddha says not to go towards Sankara and Vijnana. All right.
Yes.
So something that we have studied, I just recall. So Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, once you identify the things, just stop there. Don't go and attach to that strongly for happiness. That's what Buddha said. So we can live with Rupa, Vedana, Sanya. We can live the life with Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, and we can very slightly deal with the things without hurting you or others. So Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, stop there. Now, Buddha is talking about in this particular sutra how the features of a thought, features of a thought, behavior of a thought. If a thought is produced, how it behaves. If a thought is produced, how it behaves, and also features of a thought. So you will understand those two in a minute. Okay, we'll go to number. Okay, the thought start number 4. Number 4. So the verse number 4, if you go to verse number 4, please. 4.
Okay.
Go to number 4. Which page is that? Number 4. Maybe 16 or 16. Further down. Same sutra, no change.
Okay.
Okay, 16, right at the bottom. Right at the bottom, yeah. That's right. Number 4. Okay. All right, so number 4 and 5 explains about the features of a thought and the behavior of a thought. Now, what you have to realize is, when I explain this, just check with your system whether this thought is behaving in that manner. So we had so many thoughts during our life, so you can check back and see how the thoughts are working. The Buddha explains here, right?
Yes.
Okay. Ye kechi pana bhutatti. Ye kechi pana bhutatti. So that means if a thought is produced, he's talking about the thought. When the thought is produced, to produce a thought, as I said just now, you need Rupa, Upadana Rupa, Vedana Sanya, Sankara Vijnana. Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara Vijnana. So you get the Rupa from outside, produce the Rupa inside Upadana Rupa, then you get sort of a feeling whether to accept it or not. Then you identify that. Rupa Vedana Sanya. Yes. Eke Chipana Bhutatmi. Bhutatmi means then the 4 items that we said in Sankara, the compression, squeezing, warming up, and the vibration took place. So they are going to activate this at Sankara. So that is what this says. Yekechi pu Pana bhutatmin. Pana means it's becoming alive. When the now see it's very clearly explained here. When the thought is alive, the Sankara is alive. Can you understand that?
Yeah, yes,
Yes,
yes.
because first 3 can't do anything. You just identify that is a person, that is a flower, that is a house, that is a car. That's all. You don't go any further. If you say it's a nice car, if I like to have it, then the sankara comes. If you see a flower and say it's a nice flower or ugly flower, then the sankara comes into the system. That is called bhuta. Bhuta means then your system start to change. Bhuta is that. So when it is alive, right at the beginning, it's going to join with bhuta. Bhuta is joining. That is exactly what
Joining.
Buddha said.
Okay.
Eke pana bhutatti. All right?
All
That's clear.
right. Clearly, yes.
Yeah. So this starts, then the next one as well. The vijnana. Vijnana is you feel, your feelings. So eke pana bhutatti tasava tavarava. So it's alive. Then what happens is when it is alive, it's going to get stabilized. This particular thought is going to get stabilized within the system, alive in the process, and it becomes stabilized within the system. Then the sankara vijnana comes now into the picture. Here comes the sankara vijnana both. Stabilizing situation, vijnana comes into the picture. I have not explained here because we discussed that in the other section. So I explained what a thought is. So therefore, I didn't repeat that here, but it is, I have given the Rupa Vedana Sanya Sankara explained in another sutra. So anyway, you know that. So you don't have to go there. So you can realize what's happening from your earlier thoughts. So it gets stabilized and gently it motion is in zone. Now it moving. Now it's going to act, but it's not going to stay as a small particle. It is now alive, it's working. So for example, if you see something right now, and if you say it's a nice flower, I would like to take home, then you do the actions with that thought. So the thought is alive. He's talking about a present thought, not a past thought. The Buddha is talking about the present thought, what's going on now, not in the past. So you get the feelings. Then I said, after stabilizing, there'll be without leaving any active residue. So it's not going to keep that thought yet because it's working now. That's why I said here, gently its motion in his own or moving in his own without leaving any active residues behind yet. Yet, I would have said, not yet. Next up, sustaining that motion or due to repetitively being with that same thought. So that's raga. So if you're going to look at this flower, nice flower, you say to it, nice flower, so many times you look at it, the thought comes in and goes, comes and goes, comes and goes. There's a repetition of the thought. Repetitively, it's happening for a longer period. Diktanga then stabilizes, reaches its peak. It goes to the peak. Sankara is at the peak, then you get the vijnana feeling. You feel the feeling is a nice, it happens very quickly. Then you say it's a nice flower, I would like to pick that flower, and so on and so forth. Bring it home or whatever. That clear? The first line.
Yeah.
So this is nothing other than what's happening to our system. So we can judge the truth through our system. That's the beauty of this particular explanation.
Yes.
Now, I said in the example, For example, now see the feeling or the feeling vijnana. I said that the term feeling is feeling or feelings, that's vijnana of a thought becomes effective once it's reached its highest level of stabilization, which is true. Now the thought is complete and it's in the process as a living process now. It's living within our system. If this thought is related to some action, then it is impossible to prevent that occurrence. That's right. That's what I said. So if you have created the thought, so it's not a thought that you are going to discard or throw away. You're going to deal with that thought, then your vijnana works, you're on the job with that thought. For example, given a rift with someone over a period of time can hurt that person at a later time. Even that can come, that's, maybe somebody you have seen before and you are seeing now. So then you create a new thought. You can create a new thought like this. Then after carrying out that harmful act, so you can't stop the action. Now thoughts are always bringing hurtful outcomes, whether it's good or bad, because when it is bad, it hurts you. When it is good, when you lose it, you feel sad. So when you bring the flower, when the flower is fading away in 1 or 2 days, you feel bad because the flower is no more. It's dying. Make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, that is how the Buddha explains this. So therefore, finally that thought preserves in the interior of the system as a tiny seed. Now see, so when the job is done by that uh, action of the thought that you have created, you can still remember. If it happens yesterday or tomorrow, you think, yesterday I had an incident like that, I can still remember. From where that comes, it is sitting as a tiny seed in your mind, that particular whole story. Especially with the upadana rupa is sitting there. So it's very strongly sitting there. If your attachment is too strong or very strong, if your attachment is light and it is not strong, it will disappear then and there. It won't come back. You can't remember anymore.
Yes.
That is a good sign. If you can't remember, it's a good sign, because if you can remember, again, it brings bad experiences, bad feelings. Because if you had a good time, you say, I had a good time, it's not no more now. If you had a bad time, you don't want to bring it back. If it is coming back, then you don't like it. Now there's a good story about this thought. Now in this verse number 4, you have understood how a thought is formed and how it gradually stabilizes in the system, and then how it acts positively or negatively. That is
Yeah.
what you have learned so far from 4. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. Mm.
Yeah. So that's clear. Very good. Number 5, Buddha says, if that thought is, I'm going very slowly, if that thought is, right, stabilizes in your system as a seed, after that action, even after the action, it is still within your system. If it is within your system, due to the strong attachment, how it is going to behave within the system, and what you feel, what you see, about this particular thought. And what you don't see, you see some things, but you don't see some. Here, number 5. Ditting dittava eva additta. So you see it is there, and also you see it is disappearing. It's no more there. You see, it's a tricky situation Buddha is explaining. To this particular thought, which happened yesterday, when you recall that, it is like this. Even if you don't recall that, it is working within the system. So if I read that, although it seems that the thought has been disappeared, it is still there, alive, within the vicinity of the interior of the system. So we feel it also appears and disappears to insist that it is existing far away. So we think it is far away, but it is not. Although we think, when you think about it, you feel it is far away, not here, not close to us, but it is close to us from the human interior. Yet it is living close by. That's what it says. So, dittava yeva addittha. Although it is seen and not seen sometimes, to insist that it is not there away from us, but it is living close by, which we can't see. It can prop up at any time. So without our knowledge, it can come up. For example, if you had an argument with a person yesterday, if you meet the person today, that thought that you had developed yesterday would come up in this fashion. So you might say, no, I don't want to argue with him, but it's coming in the system like this. Bhutava, reagainst its activities. Bhutava means it's bringing that, the disturbance produced to the system through the particles. That is what it says. It's seen to be not to be seen. Seen, you see it is gone, but it is still there. Then when it brings that hurtful feelings through the particles, still we don't feel that. It is happening in the system, Buddha says. We don't feel it. We can't feel what is happening in the particles of the system until the final effect is exposed. So why, if somebody gets angry, the shivering, everything comes out, then only we can see it is really has gone mad with that person and is angry. So that's the final result. Until such time, all these things are happening. So dittava yeva ditta yecha dure vasantya vidure bhutava sambhave siva. Sabbe sattva bhavantu sukhitatva. So Buddha is telling to control this system, this method by Meththa. When you practice Meththa, such things won't arrive within the system. That's what Buddha says, because it's no more. Why Buddha talked about this 4 and 5? Just to show us the consequences of not having Meththa, and the benefits of having Meththa is explained in the previous verses. We become soft. We don't have any arguments with the others. Peaceful life. But if the Meththa goes away from our system, here comes the thoughts and giving all sort of problems and troubles. To say that, Buddha explains here the features of a thought. So you might ask why Buddha said this. That is the reason. So then the reader will realize the value of Meththa. Make sense?
Yes.
If a person doesn't know the value of Meththa, doesn't want to practice. So Buddha is encouraging us to practice Meththa to overcome such bad experiences. So those are the bad experiences that you can imagine. So Bhuta was Sambhave Siva. So the Upadana Rupa is, is again and again coming back and, forward. And whenever something is triggering, that means, when you see the person you had or something that you had with bad experience, when you see that again, those tiny particle is going to prop up within the system as a residue, sitting in the system, in the interior of the system, comes out all of a sudden without your knowledge, and it will do the damage to your entire system. So if you read that part, however, that second last paragraph of this page, number 17, however, that is not possible without triggering an already stabilized Upadana Rupa. Sambhave Siva means that. So, as I said just now, when you see that person or the thing that you had arguments with or that you're not happy with, so some sort of a trigger should come out. That means by seeing that, then the Upadana Rupa is going to produce through the seed which is sitting there due to the previous action that you had with that thought. So it's sitting there, it shows it's not there, because now when we are here, we can't remember, now see, yesterday so many things happened. Until you trigger that, it won't come out. If you say to yourself, yesterday I had that friend, then if you just touch that incident, what will happen to your mind? That is sort of a trigger that you are making about the incident that you had. Then the thought, the seed of the thought sitting there now in the mind will prop up and tells you the story, what has happened with that discussion or the incident or what happened yesterday. That makes sense?
Yes.
It's very clear, I think. And Upadana Rupa related to such a seed of a thought is going to prop up.
Yes.
Now,
Because you explained very clearly and you repetitively more, and I learned your another book. I know I try to follow you. Yes.
okay, thank you.
Mm.
Okay. For example, a person who used to harm the life of oneself or other lives may attempt or such actions towards oneself or others at any moment. The practitioner of Meththa does not allow such cruel situations to occur and dominate even through a slight build-up of Chatudhati through Sankhara, exactly what I said. Now, a nice thing comes to my mind when Buddha enlightened. It's a very nice story, it's a true story. After the enlightenment, Buddha made a statement. It's a long statement. If I say it, this is what it is. It's a long one. Doesn't matter. Just listen to that. Even you can't remember, we'll explain that in the future. Aneka jati sansarang sanda bisang anibisang Gahakarakang gave santo dukkha jati punapunang Gahakaraka dittosi punagehang nakahasi sabbe te pasa sukha bhagga Gahakutang visankitang visankara gatang chittang tanhanang kaya majjagati. That is the statement said by the Buddha after enlightenment. In briefly, what it says is, I was going through this sansara, so many lives in this universe, so many times, infinite times I was living in this world or the universe. Then I found who is troubling me. The thought is troubling me. I found that. And why? Because I allowed my six senses to control by the outside. Now, the outside is not controlling my six senses. I am controlling my six senses the way I like. The outside things can't control me at all. That is what Buddha said in briefly. So I am the person who is controlling my system and the senses. I have not given that to the outside to control. It's a very brave and very valid statement, finally. By eradicating tanha, kama and tanha, kama, tanha, rati, raga. So I have eradicated that 10 items, unwholesome items fully, Buddha says. So can you understand that the last part I said?
Yes.
Yeah. So that is exactly what says here. So Buddha is asking us here, don't allow the outside to control you. You better control your system.
Yeah.
Don't allow others to jump into your system and control you. Then only you get anger, hatred, you name all these things, sorrow, the fear, you name, everything is there. So fearful situation, everything is there because allowing others to control you. So if you don't allow others to control your system, you are not hurting yourself or becoming sad or sorrowful or unhappy. That's a very valid point given by the Buddha. So this particular sutra, if I go back to what we discussed so far, without going any further for the time being, number 15 says, if you go to number 15, the very first one, we can come back to this number 6 gradually. All right, number 1, yeah. So Buddha says, develop, practice, or promote Meththa as a skill. As a skill. So once you practice that as a skill, well, what do you need? We have to associate with the outside world as much as we can. Without that, we can't practice. Is that right?
Yeah.
You agree with that? Without associating with the outside world, you can't practice it. How can you practice metta without associating with other people? That means you have to deal with the confronting things slightly. So in day-to-day life, live the life the way that you were living and allow the others to confront you. Now see, after the enlightenment, Buddhahood, after becoming the Buddha, Buddha was confronted by that uh, elephant, the drunk elephant came and confronted the Buddha. Buddha used metta to prevent that disaster. So that means when you develop when you truthfully develop that metta, it becomes a barrier where others can't hurt you. It happens automatically, Buddha says. Now, what is the most hurtful thing can somebody does? That person or the animal or whatever can kill you. If that person or the animal kills you, what will happen? Your body will die, but your energy will be still there. So it's you can't that is the point it makes. They can kill me, but they can't kill my energy. Energy will stay. So Buddha is not talking about preventing killing. Buddha is talking about preventing the developed energy, positive energy cannot be killed by anyone. That is what the message is. Some people might think, then Arahant, one Arahant was beaten by a group of, uh, people and he died. So where is the power? Power is that energy is positive energy is there that cannot be taken out. Anyway, so this is what it says, Meththa. If you practice, you can see the results by yourself. Yantang santang padang abhisameccha. How to do that? You deal with the things slightly and lightly. And be honest, steady on that particular skill development program. Then your system becomes smooth, soothing, peaceful, and becomes soft and very, very easy to deal with the worldly confrontations, no matter what. So easy to deal with the worldly things with metta. That is what number 1 says. Number 2 says some benefits. Number 2. If you go to number 2, please. It says Santussa kocha subharocha. So you are very, very hopeful, pleased with the outcome. That is what Santussa. Santussa means happy, but I don't like to use the term happy because the sound says happy, but it is not happiness because it's attachment. Hopeful, pleased with that outcome that you are going to get through the development of metta as a skill. So benefit is so important. You are pleased with that. You are hopeful with that. What is the hope? To live the life peacefully in any situation. That's a big plus. Subharocha. Subharocha means not heavy. Your system is not heavy with all the unwanted things. So it's not hurting yourself. Subharocha means that means it's not heavy like those days, like past. I had this, that. I'm not running here and there. I'm not a busy person. I'm a calmful person. I'm doing the things according to my pace. I'm not jumping here and there. I'm not, crazy. I won't become crazy like those days. So all sort of things comes to your mind. I'm not a person like that now anymore. So that is what it is. Subharocha appakichocha sallavukutti. So you touch everything softly in every day-to-day situation you deal with, day-to-day activities without harming you or harming others. Appakichocha sallavukutti. Sallavukutti means all the professions that you are dealing with. So Buddha used the word Salla Vuka Vutti. Vutti means the last word of the second line. Vutti means professions that you are doing. So professions means every activity that you are going to involve in day-to-day life. All right?
Yeah.
Happy with that? Yeah. So, Santusakocha, Subharocha, Appagichocha, Sallavuka Vutti, Sandrindriyocha, Nibakocha. Your six senses cannot be touched by the outside, as Buddha said. Exactly saying here. After that enlightenment, Buddha said, hereafter, the outside world cannot control my six senses. I am the person dominating them. I am the person who is telling the six senses to behave the way I want. That is not hurting me or others. Exactly, that is the benefit we are going to get if we do it properly. Buddha stated here. Sandrindriyocha nipakocha, no nipakocha, no anger. No anger. Especially when you are dealing with outside world, most of the time you get angry because things are not happening the way that we wish. Outside world, the things are not happening the way that we wish. Majority of the people get anger when they deal with the outside world without metta. Can you understand that? Through experience,
Yes.
we can find out whether you're right or wrong, isn't it? Yeah, we can, select that, or we can
Yes.
realize that. We can realize that. I would use the word realize. So the tendency to promote thoughts. Next line says, "Appagabbocha kulesu ananubiddu." Appagabbo means opening the six senses to create thoughts is no more. Appagabbo kulesu ananugiddu. I'm not exposing my six senses or the all senses. I said something like two eyes, 2 years, then you get nine doors or nine senses. Otherwise, major one six. So I'm not going to open the doors of my six senses for the upadana rupa, rupa to come and produce upadana rupa and give all sort of problems to my system. No, I'm not. So, appagabbo kulesu ananugiddo. Various type of things to bring come in. No, I'm not allowing that to happen anymore. That is number two in a broadly in broadly. That is what it says. So number two says you are dealing with the things very peacefully, no heaviness in the system. You are dealing with the things very lightly, as I said. In every profession, you are doing that. You are very hopeful, peaceful, your system. So you like that one, you want to be like that. Therefore, you are looking after your six senses very well. So that is what says Sandrindriyocha Nipakocha. Therefore, no anger is coming into the system because you are very inner, uh, very vigilant about the behavior of the six senses. You're always checking what they are doing. So no more thoughts can be produced through the system. The doors are not open for them anymore. So it's much clearer there. That's a big plus and
Yeah.
benefit. So number three, with all that, you have made your system so strong, I would say. Number two says, when you come to number three, it specifically says no hurtful arguments with the associates or the people you are dealing with, no hard feelings No hurtful things are arguments are happening anymore. No arguments, no conflicts. That is what number 3 says. Nacha kuddang samachare kinchena vinyo pare upavadi. So vinyo means vinyana. Vinyana is not there in the fifth item of a thought. See the second line. Vinyo pare. Vinyu pare. So second line. Kinchena vinyu pare upavadeyu. The second line, third word. Vinyu. Third word. Third word of the second line, please. Yeah, that's the one. Vinyu. Vinyu means no vinyana with the outside world. Or the pare means others, with others. Upavadeyung means not producing any vinyana with when dealing with the others. What it means? Vinyana is a bad thing. That means Rupa Vedana Sanya, no Sankara, no Vinyana. So you are just being with them quite well. No production. Upadana, unnecessary, unpleasant thoughts are not. That is Vinyana. So, no Vinyana means no feelings, no thoughts, no nothing. It can be written many ways. All right.
All right.
Vichena
Yes.
vinyo pare upadeyung sukino va kemino hontu. So you are going to live the life by eliminating all these things. No burning sensations. So it's quite pleasing situation. So Buddha explains here Vijnana in third one, and then talked about the features and the behavior of a thought in 4 and 5. Now see, it is linked to that particular number 3 with 4 and 5, Vijnana. So the danger of Vijnana is explained, elaborated here, I suppose. That is how you join number 3 to 4. I like to, always I like to look at the cause and effect of this sutra. How the first one is linked with the 2, 1 and 2 linked with the 3, 1 and 2 and 3 verses linked with the fourth verse, 1, 2, 3 and 4 verses links with the fifth one, and so on and so forth, up to the last one. So that is how you look at your sutra, so that you can consolidate the meaning, the method, the logic related to this particular sutra very well.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very important way of handling things, because you don't want to look at each verse separately because they are linked together. This is a Buddha omniscient knowledge. Buddha has omniscient knowledge, the intuition and the intellectuality is enormous. So can't, no words to explain. So such a Buddha, when preaches something, it has got everything. This is what we can see, but there are so many things that we can't see still. So we have to investigate more and more. If somebody investigates this one practically more and more, would come with more, facts. Who knows? In the future.
Yes.
So that is why Buddha said in that sutra, Pratana Sutra, ye pudgalata satam pasatta, then I said there's one. He's going to investigate, evaluate the Four Noble Truth to the extreme depth. Ye ariya satchani vibhavayanti gambhira panyena sudesitani. This particular Four Noble Truths will be evaluated, examined, explored to the maximum, then the intellectual ability enhances very well. So that is what we learn, even here the same. So once you have seen this, you have to tell yourself why Buddha said next one after this. So it says, this says, Kinchi yena vinyu pare upadeyu. Kinchi yena. This particular person has no conflicts through vijnana with anybody. So conflicts consist of vijnana. When there is a conflict, the sankara and vijnana are there. They are active. Nacha kuddang samachare, number 3 I'm still at. Nacha kuddang samachare kinchiyena vinyo pare upavadeyung sukhinova kemino hontu sabbe satta bhavantu sukhitatva. What is the last line? Sabbe satta bhavantu sukhitatva. All that hurts, bhavantu means bhava, bhava means the 4 things, the bhava means the changes happening. Bhava means the changes happening to the system due to the 4 items, the squeezing, compression, squeezing, warming up and vibration of the particles is not happening. Sabbe satta bhavantu sukhitatva. But some text explain that as, well, all the beings will be happy. All satta means all the beings living in this world becoming happy. That is how they translate that. But I don't think that is the right one. According to the first 3 lines, it should be in par with the 4th one. 4th one should be related to what is said and done in 3. Can you understand what I'm trying to tell you?
Yes.
Now the first, second, third should go with the 4th one. You can't have one meaning for the first one, second meaning is another one, third one is another one, fourth one is an entirely different meaning. No, you can't have that. You have to have this, pattern should be there. The logically it should be right. First one related to second, first and second related to third, first, second, and third related to the final one in 3rd verse, the 4th line. Then all these 4th lines should related to the, 4th lines of 3 should be related to the 4th verse. First, second, third, fourth, lines or whatever. So that is how you logically examine. You have to logically examine. That's what Buddha requested us to do. You logically examine my teachings, please. Then only you enhance your knowledge, intellectuality, thinking pattern, your skills. You develop everything in this system inside to make you peaceful. That is the message by the Buddha. Okay, number 4 and 5, just explained earlier. 4 and 5, we'll go to that again. Yekinchipana bhutatti tasava thavarava anavasesa digava yeva mahantava majjima rasa kanukatula. So the thought, in other words, if we just explain in our own words, the thought is produced through Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana. So we are trying to explain that with what we have learned so far. Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana is going to produce a thought. Now the thought is alive. Now it will work according to its wish because we allowed our 6 senses to go out and bring the upadana, bring the rupa into the system. Then the system in its own produces these thoughts. was no barriers, no stopping by us through Meththa or anything like that. This is what's going to happen. That's what Buddha said. Without Meththa, it will work in its own. So the thoughts are produced whether we like it or not if we don't do something. So from our experience, what will happen is Rupa Vedana Sanya Sankara Vijnana brings the thought. Now the thought is alive. Now the thought is going to do the damage. The thought is going to act. Thought is going to work along the designated pattern given to the thought. Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana. Go ahead with that. Then the thought will go in the manner it wants. Right? Then
Yes.
what happens? Thought comes and does everything, do the damage, good or bad. Then it will be sitting there as a tiny particle in the system. That is what it means. So, Anuka Tula, the last two words, Anuka Tula. Anuka means very tiny. Tula means, is sitting there in as a very tiny particle. Rasa means getting smaller and sitting there. Rasa, Rasaka, Anuka Tula. Three words in that number for the last thing. Majjhima is it's becoming little bit smaller. Then it becomes smaller and smaller. I'm looking at number 4. Yeah, the last 3 lines of the, last 4 words of the second line. There are only 2 lines there. So you can see after doing the damage, it doesn't go. It will stay there as a very tiny particle. So it produced that. Now, in essence, what it says is, Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana is produced through the 6 senses. Then it will act the way it likes. Then after acting, the effects of that particular thought is going to stay or stabilize in the system as a tiny particle or seed. Why we use the term seed? Because seed can crop up whenever you give the things for it to crop up. Makes sense? So I have reduced the reading, but you can read that. You know exactly what it is. You can experience through your system itself. So it finally gives vijnana. Vijnana has the tendency to, produce a tiny particle of that after action is complete or completed. Then it will sit as a tiny seed. And why it is sitting there, whenever it is required, it will come up at any time after a week or 2 or years, maybe 5 years, 10 years, maybe 40 years, 50 years, who knows. It can come up and harm you if it's a bad thought. So that's why Buddha said, just ignore the things, then it can't come up. So it has no place to stay there. So when you purify your system, you are eliminating all these seeds which are sitting there. I don't want those things anymore. So how it happened? Because you are replacing the seeds with Meththa. You fill up the mind with Meththa, Karuna, Mudita, Upeksha. There are 4 items which we have discussed later. So when you develop Meththa, then you feel like developing Meththa. That means Karuna. Karuna means you feel like producing the Meththa because you are looking at its benefits. karuna, metta, mudita, then your system becomes soft. Very simple. The explanation is very simple, Buddha's explanation. So karuna, mudita, metta, karuna, mudita, upekha, then you become impartial. So little by little you are becoming impartial. Metta, karuna, mudita, upekha. Those are the 4 items which leads to upekha from metta. Thus, once you develop that, your system has no place for the impurities to come in. Like the 10 awesome actions, 5 hindrances, they are nowhere, no way. They can't, they can't, they can't think even to come to your system anymore. Gone forever. Make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the benefit. That's a big benefit. So here, otherwise these thoughts will come. So Buddha is asking us to be vigilant about what's going on. Number
Yes.
5. Number 6 is, okay, 4 and 5. I'll just touch 6 and stop, and we can discuss 6, 7 tomorrow. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. So again, it says, no conflicts, no nothing with the other people, no disputes, no argument, no conflicts with the other people. Again, Buddha repeated, because you are very well understood how the thoughts are working now, the danger of having thoughts. Only you are looking at Rupa Vedana Sanya. You can live with Rupa Vedana Sanya, no Sankara, no Vijnana. So therefore, you can stop or eliminate all the conflicts that you can think of with others. With the world. No conflicts. So your perceptions are very, very good. No angry perceptions. Patika Sanya. So Patika Sanya, I like to explain one word here. Number 6, second line, second word, please. I just explain that a bit and stop. Patika Sanya. No, not there. Second line, second word there. Thank you. Patika Sanya. Patika Sanya means Patika Sanya, 2 words. 2 sounds, sorry. 2 sounds, 1 word, Patika Sanya. You know the 2 sounds, you have learned that. Patika and Sanya. It should come to your mind. Patika is in what? In 10 fetters, the patika is there. In 10 fetters that we learn. Sangyojana, 10 fetters. Sanya is in the 5 aggregates of a thought. Can you recall those 2 sounds? Patika and Sanya. Where is Patika? Okay, we'll go to that. That is Sakkaya Ditti, Vichikicha, Silabbata Paramasa, Kamaraga, Patiga. The 5th one of the fetters. Sakkaya Ditti, Vichikicha, Silabbata Paramasa, Kamaraga, Patiga, Ruparaga, Aruparaga, Manuddacha, Avidya, the other 5. But Patiga is the 5th item of Sangyojana. Make sense?
Yes.
Sanya means Rupa Vedana Sanya, the 3rd one. So Sanya is not going to produce Patiga. That means you stop at Sanya, no Patiga. If you allow that to go beyond Patiga, what will happen? Sakkaya Ditti, Vichikicha, Silabbata Paramasa, Kamaraga, Patiga, Ruparaga, Aruparaga, Manuddacha, Avidya. It will go to the ignorance. It will take up to the ignorant state, which is dangerous. Then avidya patya, sankara patya, then we have to go along the paticca samuppada or the dependent origination path up to the enormous amount of suffering. So that will be stopped because patika is coming from anger. So that's why Buddha picked patika. Patika is to do with anger. conceit. Conceit, anger, ill will, you have got so many terms. Get crazy, you go mad, all these things people used to say. So that is patiga. So therefore, when this person is dealing with the outside world, no patiga, no ill will, no hard feelings, no anger, no hatred, you name, all bad things are not there. Therefore, that person is not going to go along the 10 fetters. If you're happy with that, if you have no questions, I'm happy. I believe you understood the most important parts of this sutra, especially how a thought is formed, and we elaborated that, the features of a thought, how it is sitting inside. Although it looks like it's gone, it's still there. It's moving around. It shows it's no more coming, but it comes whenever it helps through the karma or the upadana roop and so on and so forth. All right.
All right. Yeah.
So I believe everybody understood to a great extent the value of this sutra now. All right.
Yeah. 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 Thank you. Yeah.
All right. If
Yeah.
you have got any questions, again, as I said, bring them over. So if you go to number 9, please, just to before you finish. Number 9, page 19. Go to number 9, just some homework to read. Number 9.
Number 9.
Number 9.
Okay. Okay.
I'm not explaining number 9. Now see, number 9 under it says Meththa, Karuna, Mudita, Upekka. There are 4 Brahma Vihara. So there are 4 items given there. Yeah, that's the place we are putting the cursor. Yeah. Meththa, Karuna, Mudita, Upekka. So just read through those 4 items, please. Number 19. Because when the Meththa is there, it promotes the Karuna, Mudita, Upekka. If you go further down, a little bit, so it says Meththa. What is Meththa, Karuna, Mudita, Upekka? Yeah, I'm not going to number 9. I'm going to the 3rd paragraph of number 9. 3rd paragraph. So it says Meththa. Did you find that? Yeah, the last paragraph. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Very good. So just go through that. See the value of Meththa. So it's a good point to stop at that place. Just go through that and see what it means. Now see, carry out all actions and duties with minimal, slight attraction or attachment when associated with all confronted world resources. That's exactly what we said. Then you feel like promoting that Meththa, that is called Karuna. You feel like doing that. Then Mudita, you become soft. Then Upekka, you are going to get the serenity and tranquility gradually. You are moving towards that path. So there are so many paths you can go according to this Buddha's teaching. So if somebody master the Karani Metta Sutra, that person can attain the bliss of Nibbana. If somebody goes through the Ratana Sutra properly, yes, still you can. If somebody goes to the Mahamangala Sutra, yes, of course. So all sutras are helping us to achieve our final goal. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. All right. If you're happy with that, we'll stop there. And please come with questions tomorrow if you have got. bring some questions. If you understood, very good. I'm very pleased with that, and to hear. I hope you have understood what I said. That's the main thing.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, doctor. Yeah. Now I have a good touch about the five sutras. The five sutras are so important. Yes, thank you so much. You introduced it to us, and I feel the closely relationship among them.
Mhm. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, yes.
I'm pleased to hear that.
It has a closely relationship, different approaching, but closely. Yes.
Yeah, because
And
that.
yes,
Yeah, yes. Say
you
it again.
please.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like to
And
hear more.
yeah, you speaking the sutra so clearly.
Ah,
Yes.
right.
So
Thank you
we
so much.
listen to it easily.
Yeah.
And most of us, our English have need big progress. So we can um,
Yeah,
try our best
gradually,
to follow you. Yeah, thank you.
while you understand, you improve your English. Now, see, if you want to improve your English, right?
Yeah,
English is not a difficult subject to learn. Tomorrow I'll explain few things about English. There are 12 tenses. There are 12 tenses to learn. If you learn the 12 tenses properly, you can speak, you can understand, you can write. Only
yeah,
12 tenses. So you may have come across that. So if you stick to the 12 tenses properly, of course you have to learn the vocabulary, the terms, this and that. But the best thing is to write uh, short notes. The way, you go on writing, doesn't matter even if you make mistakes. I made so many mistakes when I learned English. We used
yeah,
to, we used to call broken English.
yeah,
So
yes,
we used
yes,
to talk broken English, at the beginning. So,
yes,
little by little, little by little, you improve, 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 finally you improve a lot. Still I'm studying English. So it's good to learn something.
yes,
Okay,
thank
that's
you.
good that mentioned that. Okay, all the best. We'll see you tomorrow then.
Yeah,
Thank you
see
so
you.
much for the comments.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for all the comments made by everybody. Thank you. See you tomorrow.
Thank you, daughter.
Thank you.
See you.
All the best.